Hello people of the worldwide internet, TW here and welcome to my review of Spyro the Dragon Reignited. Yes, just like with my Uncharted videos, I'm reviewing these collections one game at a time, as I do believe that each one is worthy of their own video. Originally developed by Insomniac Games and remade from the ground up by Toys for Bob, Spyro Reignited was released back in 2018. First up, the narrative. It's quite a simple one, so I'm not even sure a spoiler warning is necessary, but if you need one, there you go. Nevertheless, our villain, Nasty Nork, is watching some dragons being interviewed on television and is offended by the, quite frankly, kind of uncalled for insults directed towards him. This leads to Double G encasing all of the dragons, save for our hero Spyro, in crystal, and thus we have our entire plot laid out before us. This might be the quickest full plot summary I've ever done because nothing story-wise advances until we beat Nork at the end of the game, so if you're looking for any actual story, sorry, but this game will not be your jam. What might be, however, is the gameplay because it's just as good as it ever was on the original PlayStation. You can run, jump, ram, and flame whatever stands in your way. And props to the sheer variety of enemies we have here. From the first hub world all the way to the final stage, the types of enemies we get never stops coming. But of course, this is a collect-a-thon from the 1990s, and our main things are to find dragons, which also act as checkpoints, gems, which can be found on the ground in enemies or in a variety of containers, and lastly, dragon eggs, which are stolen by thieves whom you'll have to chase down. Some of these thieves can be quite a bit annoying to take down, but for this playthrough I had significantly less problems with them than usual. Now the reason you have to find all of these things is that these balloonists will gate your progress until you get enough of a certain collectible, and it varies from one hub world to another. For the record, I am not a completionist, and even I was able to 100% every level in this game, including treetops. For those not in the know, you have to use the supercharged ramps in the most bonkers fashion to find all the collectibles. Just to really showcase how insane these jumps are, I'm going to show back-to-back footage of these two required jumps needed to complete this level. Haunted Towers is another level that gave me issues just because of this supercharged jump. Only through trial and error was I able to figure that one out, but if I can do it, then surely most others can as well, right? Those levels aside, everything else in this game was an absolute fun time breeze walk in the park on a late Sunday morning. If you're having any trouble at all finding the treasure because Toys for Bob faithfully recreated Insomniac's love for finding things a bit too well at times, then you just push in L3 and Sparks will point towards it. That is provided he's still around because after taking a few hits, poof, no more dragonfly until you found a butterfly, and let me tell you, navigating a stage without him can be a bitch. One of the more interesting things about Spyro is that you can face the boss of any world at any time. There's nothing stopping you from doing so as soon as you want. And on the topic of bosses, they're all incredibly easy. The only one that gave me even the slightest pause was Metalhead. Yes, even the final boss of the entire game, Nasty Nork, didn't put up much of a fight after you start chasing him. No, really, he's more of a challenge when you're chasing down the thieves who are guarding the keys than he is during the proper fight. This might be the easiest final boss I've ever encountered. Then again, Spyro is definitely a game more about the journey than the destination. Yes, that's cheesy, but it's also the 100% truth. Another truth is that these hub worlds are pretty amazing. You start off in the peaceful artisans world, eventually make your way to more and more complex and dangerous locations. My favorite has to be magic crafters. We got wizards, snow, and black mages from Final Fantasy? Sure, why not? My favorite has to be magic crafters. We got wizards, snow, and black mages from Final Fantasy? Sure, why not? And if you're thinking, wow, this remake is pretty good, but is there any actual place where it shines better than the original other than looking prettier? Yes, there is. Unlike the 1998 original, every dragon you rescue is 100% unique, and outside the few that get recaptured at the end of the game, you'll never see the same one twice. The amount of work that went into modeling 76 unique dragons that you'll only see for a few seconds each cannot be applauded enough. Fine, I'll talk about the flight levels, jeez. So each world has these levels which require you to fly around and take out a bunch of objects within a given time limit. I hate these, and because of that, I only did the first one just to collect footage for this video. I did them all once on my first go around, and I refuse to do so again. I have nothing to prove, and why they brought these back in the next game, I'll never know! And that was Spyro the Dragon Reignited. This was one of the most fun games I've played for this channel. I really can't say enough positive things about it. The gameplay, phenomenal, the level design, borderline perfection, and yeah, the story is pretty non-existent, and the bosses were very much on the weak side. However, everything else about Spyro is so good that in the end, that stuff doesn't even matter, like, not even the slightest bit. My favorite thing about this remake is that it makes the perfect case as to why remakes should be made. I've heard some people say that there's nothing creative about remakes. The work the team made in modernizing the aesthetics of a PS1 game, as well as giving each dragon their own model, should most certainly disagree with that. Plus, not everyone who wants to play these classic games wants to buy an old console to do so, and on top of that, the more easily accessible these older games are, the easier they are to preserve. And yes, I am one of those game preservationist types. I mean, movies, books, and music are all being preserved all the time. Why not games? And I'll, of course, use this time to once again say, port Mystical Ninja and Greymod's Great Adventure to modern consoles, Konami! I'm just rambling now. Anyway, Spyro the Dragon Reignited is rad, and hope that with Microsoft seemingly buying Activision Blizzard, Toys for Bob can get back to making non-Call of Duty games. Join me next time for... I'm not entirely sure. I have like 20 different ideas in my head for my next video, and not very many of them are going to be able to be done as quickly as this game is, so... join me sometime in the future for that. I assume early September, maybe? Bye!